bring this up. Hey, peeps. This is Marci Lock and my Sky Guy. Hang on. Oh, you got the mic.
It's on my finger.
We're trying to set this up so that will stay. That should be good. Okay, cool. So, Sky Guy and I are about to head to the jungle for his second time, my fifth time, and we wanted to have an authentic, open conversation because with me, obviously, choosing to be who I am and stand in truth for what I know, going to the depths of learning and understanding. Taking my kids to the jungle, the first time they went down there, they were 9 and 12, which was last year. Sky's now
13.
I know I was going to say, I thought you did it in Spanish.
13.
Yeah, right? So last time, I wanted to just share with some people his intention last time and seeing what has happened in his life this last year and actually get clear with where he's at now and his intention. We've been talking this morning about what is he going to release and what is he going to receive. So what was your intention last time going down into the jungle?
I didn't have an intention, really.
Yes, you did. We talked about expression.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you remember?
I don't remember. I used to be like super one of those teenagers, but like really young, where it's like,
you were quite a
stop,
teenager.
you're embarrassing me.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
But that just made me not have fun ever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you're worried about judgment and bullies.
So
my
goal was to express myself, and now when I go out to like lunch with my friends, they're always like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm flapping my arms like a crazy person.
Yeah, so let's talk about expression for a minute. So when I took my kids down last time, I was giving them the clarity of the gift that this is and what can actually happen, and we get to remove from our cellular memory all these limiting beliefs and these things that we have. And so my experience with Sky in the past, we'd go out for date night, and even on date night, we'd be laughing and having a good time, and this is where we love our date nights. They always brought up the most amazing things. But I remember us like laughing our butts off one time at a restaurant, and he's like, Mom, those people are looking at us. Those people are watching us. And he was very aware, just like most of us get taught, that it's like, oh, I'm out of the box. People could be judging me. I could be rejected. I have to calm down, or I have to be something different to be accepted in this environment. And we're at a restaurant, and I was like, awesome, babes. I said, maybe their perception is that they're like, wow, those guys are having so much fun, and I wish I could be like that, and I wish we could be that happy. And we started talking about, social, what was the things that I taught you about? What did I call it? Like social experiments, where as I broke through.
Yeah.
So as I broke through my fears of being seen,
she told me the stories of how when she was maybe like a year ago.
It was a couple years ago.
A couple years ago with Gerald, you guys go out and you would act like this. You'd act like this crazy. I'm not gonna. Just crazy person, right? And then like that was.
And he'd walk around holding my hand and say.
He'd say, "I like her for her looks."
So I'd be like a little messed up, and he's like, don't judge me, I'm with her for her looks. We just do these crazy ass social experiments to actually allow ourselves to be like, find it funny and laugh at ourselves and not care what other people thought. And then it became even when I'd start working out in the airport.
My social experiments are trying to give people high fives, and then when they don't give me a high five, I scream at them. So the point being, like, we talk about these things and we have these epic experiences on date nights where he'd start to go, oh, like, okay, so the more I choose to be me, I actually am a light that creates happiness for others. And yet he still has always, because I taught my kids from the time they were young that they got to uniquely be themselves, because comparison is the thief of all joy. So last year when we came down to the jungle, Skylar, his intention, he had said, was he's like, I want to let go of fear of judgment and being rejected. I want to be free to express myself. And his experience down in the jungle, literally, he had an experience where he just felt like all this energy, and he just got to run around and like be completely free with himself. I literally ran around the entire campus where Mom's like
the sacred
walking
grounds.
Down there to actually do the sacred thing. She's like, this is a sacred place. Don't play here.
I didn't say don't play.
Well,
that is not true. I said you got to respect the sacred space.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but full expression is totally okay.
Okay. She said you got to respect it, and I was like, okay. And then when I did the thing, I was like,
So he ran around like a crazy person at one point in full expression. Now, what has happened in the last year since he came back was that
obviously expressing himself with his hair. We've taught at the school in Columbia, and he taught the kids how to express. He came back and literally bullies did not matter to him. He went from like so affected by the bullies and always having to process their, you know, and the judgments to literally like, I don't care. I'm fully being me.
When people actually, I'm not even like lying. This is,
well, that's good. We believe in being authentic and honest.
when I got back, there's these two kids who bullied me all the time, particularly. If you're watching this video, you know who you are. But when they came up to me, I was just like, I just say crap references. Like, they'd try to bully me, and I'd be like, "You killed my father.
Prepare to die."
And then I'd run at them.
Full expression. So last night, and I wish I was like in my own little zone. We got in really late, and
so
I
tired.
literally,
She's just like, I'm dancing, and then she goes,
I'm like, I'm joining in, baby. I'm joining in. So this is what was interesting. Last night we get in 2-hour flight of sitting, and Skylar, we get into where the bag claims are, and he's always becoming an epic gentleman. I teach him all the time in our date nights and our Epic Man training. To be an epic gentleman. So of course he goes to get the bags, and he's like walking over there, flapping his wings, all big and expressive. And you see everyone just kind of like turning their head, and we're in a foreign country, and they're like crazy Americans like looking at him. He's doing all this thing. He gets over by the thing, and he's just like dancing, and he's being all happy. And I was just smiling and laughing at him. And I look, and these people that were watching him, they just started to light up and smile. They even looked at me, and they're like, and I'm like, yep, he's silly. And they were just like lit up. Other people
just like, yep, that's mine.
Yeah, and other people might have been, like thinking that was crazy. And this is what's interesting is you always attract what you're looking for.
You'll
always find,
right there?
Sure. You always find what you're looking for, right? So, I've shared a story in the past where, doing some things in events where I'm just dancing and being happy. People come up to me and they're like, oh, you're so happy. And they wanted to be around me. Same thing at the airport if I'm working out. People come around and they're like, oh, that's so smart. How do you do that? And then there's people that are like,
it's called brains.
Crazy. And I can see that as like, I don't see actually now the people that are like, that is so unprofessional in this place, or that's weird, or that's out of the norm. So he is free to express himself. He's being this light and this joy, and other people are just like, he brings this light about him.
If somebody asked me, like, please stop, you're embarrassing yourself, I'd be like, all right, you want me to stop? Turn around. You don't have to see it.
Yes, see? That was epic, babes. Right? That was awesome, because guess what? If we have haters or people who go, you're too much for me, that's because we're triggering you to not be the open, expressive light that you are, and feel free to not follow. Feel free to turn around. He literally was just like, awesome, thank you for, that being your experience, and you don't have to participate in my experience. I get to honor myself. So let's talk about where expression really starts. So, Sky, I don't know if you remember this. When he was, I've shared this story. I've shared this story. Lots of likes and love. See? Look, and Earl Spencer. We love Earl. Oh, we do have a driver. Is he already here? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Our driver is already here for the take us to the jungle. So I just want to talk about this and real quick. And that when Sky was, as I was going through my own journey, when Sky was going through his first day of kindergarten, and I shared this story in some of my audios and my recordings and my programs and whatnot. Yeah, I remember him coming in.
I was the boss.
He was at the time when he was this little. What age is that? That's like 5 years old, right? Kindergarten. Yeah, it's
4
like
to 5.
Yeah. So he was, at the time, he was really into, what are they called? The Little Rascals show. And he came in the first day of kindergarten, and he comes into the bathroom and he says, Mom, I want to do my hair like Alfalfa. And he's like, I want it like this, right? Alfalfa does it like this. And I was like,
I pronounced it right.
You did it however you did it, right?
Alfalfa.
And I was ready. Oh, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I was actually going to see how supportive we are. They're already like, hey, we'll grab your bags, our big ass, huge Titan bags to put in the jungle.
I call it a Titan because it's a
big.
Titan.
He's like, Mom, you grab the Titan, you're strong.
I'd be like, you're wearing a Titan on your
back. We only got a couple minutes, so I want to hurry and get this out so that we can share. So I literally found myself about to say, no, you can't do that, because I was afraid he'd get judged. I was afraid he'd get teased. I was afraid then he'd have a bad experience at school, or the kids would tease him or make fun of him. And I caught myself, and I was like, whoa, interesting. Why do I think it has to look a certain way? Or why would I, what's coming up for me is that I'm afraid that he'll have this experience, and that's my own internal bullshit that we can't be completely free and open and wear masks. And when I got to break it down and I got to look at it, it was like, you know what, maybe even if he did get teased, that would be the greatest experience in his life process for him to discover who he is. And it also might be the coolest thing ever. They might be, wow, that kid's super cool, right? So I had to catch myself, and at that time I realized I get to let them fully be themselves, their unique self, and fully express. And I started like, hey, you can express in whatever way you want. And so I'd have friends that would maybe, you know, be with my kids when I was speaking or doing something, and they'd message me, they're like, they were going to school and they said that you let them dress however. They wore like one purple soccer sock and one green soccer sock and all these crazy colors, and like I tried to tell them that didn't quite work, and they were like, hey, our mom lets us wear whatever we want. So even though all along this journey I've taught them comparison is the thief of all joy.
Because I don't think Gavin was old enough yet.
Well, Gavin started to want your validation of like, what should I wear to be cool like you?
Yeah,
and I remember you went to tell him one time, well, this would be cool, and I said, I pulled you aside and I was like, babes, remember, we want Gavin to know he's perfect however he is. Whatever he chooses to wear, he's cool on his own, he's his own unique self. So even though we've been giving them this message for a long time, you can see how the conformity of society still wants to teach you that, nope, this is what it's supposed to be. So Skylar went down there literally like, you know what, I'm ready to release this bullshit. I'm letting go of fear of expression, and his ability to express has exploded in the last year, from his gaming business, his DJ business. You can follow him.
Wendy Mofidi Salvogia.
She's letting her son wear whatever he wants to. Awesome, we approve. So Skylar in the last year did his DJ business, his gaming business. You can follow him on Instagram at Skyrel_the_gamer.
You can follow me on Instagram at Skyrel_the_gamer.
Yes, and he totally now
self-promotion
is free to express. So a big difference from being so afraid to even laugh in a restaurant to being at the airport, being like his crazy, silly self, having a good time, and realize that is how you create light. So Sky, because I know we got to go, our jungle ride is here. What is your intention? Because this was super amazing to me. I shared this picture that he drew as we were like, cool, babes, what's your intentions to let go of this year, and what do you want to receive?
Well, it's just because that day I was just like a bit tired, and I was just listening to my playlist I made called Fuck You, I'm Dancing.
Mm-hmm. Which is a whole nother, let's share that real quick.
When I listen to my music and I'm happy, I just dance like a freak just on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before I came out to Columbia, on the streets I was taking Bully out. I was a bit depressed because Andrew was playing my game I hadn't played yet, and I was really sad about that. School gave me a hard time that day, so I put on my music, and I was dancing like a big freak, and then literally everyone on every house was looking out the window like, why the fork?
Because that's the restaurant here, and he's like, why did they name it that? So he's expressing, and he created happy. So he took his the energy that was negative, the thoughts and the things that were frustrating him, and he transmuted it into happiness. He chose his own happy. So actually, we were with all my peeps the last day that we were here at dinner, and he was going to make this playlist, and he said, Mom, you know, and he was labeling it Depression Deceased, and I said, interesting, why? And he said,
because it gets rid of my depression.
And I said, so now let's tune into this. What are you focused on if you label it that? Depression, right?
Rainbows.
Depression. And so what I said is, what's the feeling you're really seeking, and what do you really want? What if we change the focus to that? And what did you decide to label it?
I literally said happiness, and
you labeled it.
Fuck you, I'm dancing.
Fuck you, I'm dancing. And this is a whole new thing. Him deciding it's okay for him to express, and even swearing, coming out in passion, because he's for years been like, no, because of the way that they were raised, you know, with with the religion I was raised in and what they used to believe. So he's even now freely expressing himself in those ways too, and knowing that that's okay and not having judgment for others. So your intention for going to the jungle now, what was your picture about the feminine and masculine?
So my talk with Anna, she told me that I had much more masculine energy than feminine.
We love you, Anna.
Anyway, she said that like my masculine was really high due to like Aikido, and
your feminine was less,
yes,
right? Which
my feminine
again
was like probably a 30%.
Yeah.
Percent. It was like 70% masculine, 30%.
Mm-hmm. That his energy body was operating. And what's interesting is all the guys that came down in the jungle with me, we realized I knew I had a vision last time I was there that it was going to be all men. As it came about and it became that it was all men, well, Maria was assisting me in doing some of the stuff, and I wanted a powerful female to hold that space for me as the feminine, because what was interesting is all those guys got to like lean in and pull out their feminine to create the receive. And so I was like, it's so interesting. And Sky's working on the same thing. So Sky's we've been diving into, and it's amazing to me that at 13 years old, I literally didn't start studying and understanding the balance of the feminine and masculine, and you can only receive.
She was like 33?
Till I was like, 33 years old that I really started to study and understand. And that's when my business catapulted and everything, is because until you are worthy to receive, you can't, and that's the feminine. So the fact that he's even leaning into this is like he wants to balance his feminine and his masculine energy, and being able to allow him to come out of the jungle feeling balanced fully in the do and the receive. So life is, and we were talking about last night, and it's interesting, the picture he drew, he didn't even know this, and this is where divine inspiration is. He had your angel wings.
I just put together a few things. She told me that she was an alien, and then like also when she told me that,
I'm not from here.
I was like, wait, if you're an alien and I'm your son, what does that make me?
You're not from here either. And our angel wings that are actually there to fly, right?
I drew what my skin kind of would look like with the energy surging through it, like and lines down here with.
And he didn't even realize he actually drew DNA activation. And this is how subconsciously, this is how subconsciously in tune we are. He drew angel wings. He drew
I drew
the
one
Kundalini
smaller
energy.
I drew my masculine wing bigger than, like really big than the other one, because
he knew that's where he energetically felt like he was at right now. He also drew that this thing is Kundalini energy, and it's a DNA activation.
I just drew that because that was cool. I thought it was cool.
And that subconsciously that's the activating DNA. So when we go down there, we're activating and we're awakening the dormant DNA within us. So this, babes, remember when we talked about this is the flow of life. The figure 8 is literally the infinity symbol of life. It is abundance. It's the inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
It is, think about it. So we talked about.
And then I drew for
we inhale. What is that?
It's taking and stuff.
And then we exhale. What is that?
Giving.
So this is the flow
of
life.
I drew
which is
I
the
drew
masculine
red stuff.
receive.
I drew red stuff here for like my masculine, and then pink stuff here for my feminine.
And interesting, he even drew left side feminine, right side masculine, which is that do energy and the receive energy. Yeah. So his intention going down into the jungle is to
find my creativity to.
Dude. Okay, come on.
Gotta give me.
Come on. Creativity. Anything else? Align your feminine, masculine. Find your creativity. So it's more expression in his feminine, which is the light. Feminine is the light.
But yeah, I found out a lot of things about that with Anna. That in my past life, I've been together with Gavin as a Royal Templar Knight for 20 lifetimes.
They've been companions.
We've been companions, fighting, battled together.
Yep.
Okay.
You found out a lot of stuff. It's all good. We actually got to go to the jungle. This is, if you guys are, because we've been referring to Anna, I'm going to be doing next week when I get back with her, we're going to be doing some stuff too, getting prepared for my peeps I'm taking to Damanhur, which is the 8th wonder of the world most people don't even know about. It's the sacred temples inside the mountain where we get to do all sorts of other healing and DNA activation through our dormant energy and dormant DNA, through selfic healing technology. So this conversation, more of like what I've done with my peeps down in the jungle, the badass, is, we're doing ayahuasca, we're doing the plant-based stuff that really is a whole nother level of awakening. And obviously if you're watching my peeps that just came down here, they're skyrocket into who they are and catapulting into receiving and just being at a whole nother level. Sky and I get to go do a couple ceremonies together right now.
Follow me at Skyrel_the
_gamer on Instagram. Sky's there if you want to follow him as well.
For those new people who joined.
And so if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, just message me because I'm happy to share some tools with you. You can also go to marcilockmentoring.com to get the Freedom Audios, which talks about this authenticity cycle, that just how we communicate. Even it's like, as we've had this time together, things come up and it's like, I'm noticing this, and we're clear on all perception. So our drivers are like, we gotta go to the jungle. So we love you guys. Power of choice is yours. Anything else you want to share? Choose your best life. Life is awesome. You are a badass being. We love you guys. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. We're going to the jungle.
Adios.